tell me your thoughts on. Well, let's go back to Friday at Aberdeen. Just came up a little short, 2 points short. Your thoughts on the game and how you executed?
Yeah, I thought we got off to we had a chance to get off to a really good start. We really talked about getting off to a fast start and how important that was going to be. And, we received the opening kickoff. We took the ball right down the field, moved it at will. Never got in too much of a stressful situation. And we fumbled the ball inside 10 there going in to score. And that was a little rough. But then we had a great defensive stop, got a 3-and-out, got them to punt the ball back to us. We were going to get the ball on our side of the 50, on the plus side of the 50, and then we fumbled the punt. We have not had fumbling issues all year. We've been really, really good with that. Our ball security has been really, really well. So, little adversity early in that game. That could have been us up, early. And then we kind of got into a rough spot there at the end of the second half with some penalties. And we got out of it, though. We got out of the half 0-0. And so we felt pretty good coming out of the locker room that, hey, we hadn't played very good. We turned the ball over 2 times. We turned turnover on downs 1 time. Our ball security wasn't very good. We had some rough calls there. And so we thought, okay, breathe, everybody, let's recollect ourselves, go out there and have a good second half. And then we fell behind 8-0. Then we go down and score 8-7. And then they go down and score 16-7. And then we moved the ball down there and we couldn't get it in. Attempted the field goal to make it 16-10. And I thought it was good. But, short goalpost, high kick over the top. The call was missed field goal. So that was key. That was big. We would have made that field goal because then we came down and scored again. And that would have made it 17-16 us. And we would have won that game. So we just didn't execute. We didn't make those crucial plays, the crucial times, which is what you need to do when you're at the end of the season and games are meaningful, really meaningful games. And there's a lot of people just maybe thought that ninth game, against Aberdeen was, it's a big game, but there was so much more than that on that. There's a lot of pressure and a lot riding on that game that, I don't think we handled very well as a program. And then that led to, us having to play on Monday.
So a couple of questions about the Friday night game. I know hindsight is always 20/20. You chose to kick the extra point to go down 1 early. Is it just because you're more comfortable with your kicking game than your 2-point conversion attempts?
No, I'm not a big believer in chasing points early. To win the game, you were going to have to score twice.
Right.
So whether you kick the extra point or go for 2, you still aren't winning it. You're still not ahead. So from that standpoint, being down 1 or being tied at that point in the game did not seem like the risk to reward and the analytics of it didn't make sense to me. And as it worked out, we scored twice, they scored twice. They got 2 2-point conversions, we got 2 1-point conversions. That was the difference in the game. Right. But, like I said, we did enough to give ourselves a chance to win. Because, if we get those 2 2-point conversions, it's still tied, 16-16. I'm not playing for ties. I'm playing for wins. And by us kicking the extra point, and by us having a very makeable field goal, it wasn't like it was short. We make those kicks 85% of the time in practice. We had a great week kicking in practice. We make that kick. Now it's 16-10, and then we score. We kick the extra point, and we win the ball game. So, I feel really good about the decisions we made in those situations, because you can't plan on them missing them. You can't plan on you automatically getting the 2. So I felt good about those decisions.
Okay. Now, my other question was about Jude Sosky. You look back at the video, and it looks like he either hyperextended his elbow or broke his arm.
Yeah, he dislocated his elbow. They popped it back in, and he's good. There's nothing broken. He needs to go in and see a orthopedic surgeon and get an MRI and make sure that there's no tendon damage. But I talked to him Friday night late, about 12:15 in the morning, and he was at film on Saturday.
Okay.
I said he wasn't in any pain because they gave him some feel-good medicine there to take care of the pain, but I'm pretty sure he was pretty sore here on Sunday and Monday. So.
Okay, let's move on to Monday and the tiebreaker. I was really impressed with your first drive. One play, you're up 6.
Yeah, so here we go again, right? I mean,
yeah.
when I talk about the football gods and stars not aligning, boy, I mean, we could not. It's such a big deal to go on defense first, because then you know exactly what you have to do, right? So now we go down and we score we had a great play dialed up. The offensive staff, Coach Busby, we worked on that play. We knew that's the play we wanted to start the game with. We hadn't shown that play against Aberdeen in Friday night, so we felt really good about that play. And we had no practice time between Friday night and Monday, so
right.
That's just kind of it. So we score, and I knew that Aberdeen doesn't have a kicker, and I know they don't kick. So I said, okay, all right, well, now in this type of setting, if you go for 1 and kick it, and they go for 2 and get it, you lose, right?
Right.
So I went for 2. Well, hindsight, like you say, 50-50, you said, well, if you would have kicked it, we would have won. Because they scored and we stopped their 2-point conversion.
Right.
Right? So it's like, oh, man. It's like whatever decision you're making, it just isn't working. So, anyways, we went for it, didn't get it. They scored, didn't get it. So we had to go that second series. And now we're on defense. So now I felt good. I thought, okay, good. Now the decisions become very, very clear. There's no guessing, trying to figure it out. It's very clear. You take the analytics out of it, you take all the guesswork out of it, you take all the feelings out of it, and you just know exactly what you got to do. So they go down and score, and they get 2-point conversion. So we know we got to go score and get a 2-point conversion. So, obviously you saw what happened. We struggled running the ball there a little bit. We got ourselves a 4th down long, and we knew what play we wanted to go to. We were coming out in text. We were going to hit the corner route. We thought it was really going to be open, and it was. Kid ran a great route. Lucas ran an absolute perfect route. And Mason probably threw his best ball of the year in a critical down situation, and put it right on his hands. couldn't complete the catch. So that's how that game ended.
So you're now you go in to play for the 4th place, and you're facing Rochester.
Yeah, not necessarily 4th place. So all those games, all they meant was what teams are in.
Okay.
That wasn't for seeding. So if we would have been in and Rochester would have been in, then we would have been the 3rd, Rochester's the 4th, because we beat Rochester.
Right,
if it was us and Aberdeen in, then it would have been Aberdeen 3rd and us 4th.
Okay.
So, because if we since we lost to Aberdeen, now we're playing Rochester. If we would have beat Rochester, and then Rochester would have beat Aberdeen in the last game, then we had to do the whole recycle again.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah.
Well,
all yesterday was to find out which 2 teams are in. Then once the 2 teams are in, then they figure out who's 3rd and who's 4th.
Okay.
Based on the regular season head-to-head matchup. So it turned out Aberdeen and Rochester were in, and Rochester beat Aberdeen, so Rochester became the 3rd and Aberdeen became the 4th.
Okay, and getting to the little mini game against Rochester, you explained it before we started talking about Aberdeen. Is exactly what happened. Is you get the possession first, you go down, score, you kick the point after, and Rochester responds and goes for 2 and gets it, right? Same thing you already talked about.
Right, but you see, so it's a little bit different there. You know, why would they play for the tie?
Right.
Whether they get it or don't get it, they've got another game.
Right.
Right. So, you know, we'll make them have to make another. You know, they went down and scored. We blew a coverage. And, you know, didn't make a play on defense. They go down and score. And so now they know they have to go for 2, you know. It's a no-brainer for them. But they had a kicker. So, you know, they could have chose to go for 1. But they go for 2, and they know it's over. When do you have a chance to be on the 3-yard line, and if you're successful, you know you're in, and you're the 3 seed, and the whole thing's over, right?
Right.
That's the right move by Coach Easley in Rochester. I would have done the same thing. We're not playing for ties. We're playing to win.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you met with your players after all this, or what was the bus ride like heading back to Shelton?
Well, we're going to meet with them at 2:45 today. You know, I'm not big on having a long conversation after a very emotional 72 hours, right? I mean, it was a long bus ride back from Aberdeen last Friday night, and it was a long bus ride back from Centralia last night. So, you know, it's one of those things that I thank them after the game. I thank the seniors. I said, you know, there's some very valuable life lessons learned here. You know, one thing that football teaches you that, you know, is when you get knocked down, you got to get back up again, you know, and that's kind of like life. You know, life's going to throw some punches at you and you're going to get knocked down, but you don't stay down. You know, winners find a way to get back up again and get better and learn. And, you know, at that point in time, they don't want to hear too much, right? You know, we have two questions that we ask our players at the end of every game, every time we're together. And, you know, or first question I ask the team is, what is your job as players? And their response is to love each other. You know, and that needs to show up there, right? There was tears, there was emotions, there was some frustration, there was some anger. There was a lot of feelings in that locker room after the game on Monday, because they knew it was over, you know. And those seniors will never put on the Climber uniform again. They will never play a high school football game again as a team. That team is written their chapter in their high climber history, and so I like to wait, give it time for everything to sink in for everybody. We'll meet today at 2:45 and talk about it, put it to rest, and talk about the plans moving forward. The good thing is that I think when we talk about playing meaningful games at the end of the football season in Shelton, we're going in the right direction. We're not playing just a 10th game to play a 10th game. We're not just playing games to play a schedule to give experience. We have expectations now. We have goals that are loftier than just, here's your schedule, play your schedule, then we call it a season, right? And so from that standpoint, I'm glad our kids got to experience the pressure of playoff type atmosphere football, and understand what that feels like and looks like, and have to understand some of the emotion and sense of urgency that goes into it. Because there was a lot of highs and lows there, right? You score on one play, everybody's high, and then all of a sudden you come back, and now they score, and you can't get too low. You can't get too high and too low. You got to stay focused. You got to stay in that even keel middle type of deal. And so, there's some good lessons to be learned there. And, I think the future looks really bright. We don't lose that much. We got a lot coming back. Our junior class is very, very strong. We got a lot of key positions back, and I think the future looks pretty bright.
Let's talk about the future a bit, and before we get really into the future, what would you like your players to do in the off season?
Well, I kind of call it, there's like phases to the off season. There's like the strength phase. There's the speed phase, and then there's the improvement phase. In the off season. And so basically what happens is you start with that strength phase where we're going to try to get as big and strong as we can. And then that leads into, okay, now that we've got strong, powerful, now we work into that speed phase. And then we work into that improvement phase, which is basically your spring ball, which happens in June. And so, it's going to be very important that our kids are in weight training, in our football class first hour. We got our kids in there. It's going to be really important that our kids get involved in other sports to stay active and keep their grades up and hear a different voice other than football voices that they've just heard for the last, June, July, August, September, October, November, the last 5-6 months. And so that's kind of the method to the madness in the off season here is, let's see how strong we can get, and let's see how well we can improve our speed and our athleticism. And then let's see how well we can get in our improvement phase in spring ball and throughout the summer going into camp. And then get ready for the Mason County Cup, Battle of the Axe against North Mason, Game 1.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the future and how, it's kind of hard to predict what you want to do next season. You have an idea, but what do you envision your team's going to look like?
Well, I think we're going to be very experienced. We've got a lot of kids that have played now. So in the calendar year of 2021, we played 15 games. Right. Think about that for a second, right?
Yeah.
That's more games than anybody's played in a calendar year. That's the most I've ever coached in a calendar year. And I've been doing it for 32 years. So, you know, we've got a lot of starts under our belt at a lot of key positions. So I think we're going to have a veteran group. Our junior class is strong. It's strong in ability. It's strong in numbers. It's strong in leadership. So I think you're going to see a mature football team. And I think you're going to see a confident football team in 2022. I think we're still going to be able to rely on our run game and our physicality up front. I think that, we're going to have to get better at some key positions on defense. But, I think that having a full off season and hopefully we go into next year and we don't have the COVID issue, right? I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but hopefully we don't have that issue because that's not fun for anybody. So just excited. We'll see. I don't have a crystal ball, to tell you exactly what it's all going to look like, but I can tell you that it's going to be a very competitive year again in the Evergreen Conference. There's some Aberdeen was very young. Chehalis was young. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Tumwater's solid football program. So it's going to be a very competitive league again next year. And hopefully we do what we need to do to not do this again next year. This is my hope, because I'd rather just win it. I went to bed Thursday night thinking, man, what a great weekend here. We're going to go on Friday and we're going to go down to the harbor and win the game and go to the playoffs as a 3 seed against Hawkinson. That's going to be fun. Saturday, I've taken my family to the monster trucks out at the Ridge, here in Shelton, and they were all jacked up. That's going to be fun. Sunday, taking my kids out trick-or-treating, spend some time with them. That's going to be fun. And then Monday, we start, practice week for Hawkinson. Well, it didn't quite go down quite like that. So, right. My wishes and desires, didn't quite work out the way. But, we're excited to do. When you're competitive and you have the blood of competition and you understand the philosophy of youth sports in high school and you feel good about the direction that things are going, and there's been progress made, in those 15 games we're 7-8. We very easily could be on the plus side of 500 on that in the last 2 years. And so, it's just about getting better, giving your kids a chance and putting them in a position to be successful. And we have to address some areas, we have to get better in some areas, we got to get a little more depth in our coaching staff. We have to evaluate that. We have to evaluate some personnel, and, we have to recruit the hallways and, keep getting better. That's the exciting part about it, Just because the season's over doesn't mean football's done and over with, There's a lot of things that go on there. A lot of people don't understand or realize, we're going to work at this thing year round, get good people in here and doing it the right way.
And you never know what could be transferring in between now and then.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't count on transfers and bank on transfers and that type of stuff. You gotta focus on what you have and
right.
and get that right, and then whatever happens. But one thing that we can do, that we can control, is we can control going out. And we were a little short-staffed this year, so we can control on our coaches, and we can control growing as a staff, and getting better and getting out and visiting some colleges in the off season, and you know, us getting better as coaches too. It's not all about just the players getting better. We got to get better as coaches and grow as a staff just as much as they have to grow as a team, and they have to perfect their craft and get better. We have to do the same thing. So,
okay, Coach, I appreciate the time you've given me the last year talking football, and we look forward to talking to you time to time in the off season and before the season.
Yeah, well, likewise, Dedrick. You know, I really appreciate what you guys do in supporting us. You know, people tune in, you know, from around the United States probably and watch you guys. You know, I had a couple good buddies of mine down in Arizona watching last night, and they're like, "Tell those guys, great job for putting it together on such short notice." And he goes, "That, you know, they do. You guys do a good job. And just appreciate your guys' time and effort." And I know it probably you don't hear it enough, but it really is appreciated, and it's a tribute to you guys' dedication to sports in the Shelton community, and can't thank you enough. And looking forward to, you know, it's kind of bittersweet, right?
Right.
On Monday, I meet with the Journal. On Tuesdays, I meet with iFiber, KMS, and Wednesdays I usually meet with you, and you know, it's I always look forward to them. You know, you guys support and stuff has always been cordial. So appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Coach.